Governor, tell us a little bit about the state's response. How can you help this part of the state?
We know that in Western North Carolina, this storm has been historically devastating. We still don't know the full extent of the damage. The storm is still occurring as we speak. The winds are still high. It's still raining. We know that there are hundreds of roads closed. I have asked people in Western North Carolina to consider all of the roads closed unless you are trying to evacuate or unless there is an emergency, because we really don't need people traveling on the roads. Many of you who live in the mountain areas know that it's just different there. The rivers rise so quickly that water can be deadly, particularly when it becomes a debris stream, when landslides occur. So we really need people to stay off of the road. We have swift water rescue teams that are already in the water and are working to rescue and find people. We have people from more than a dozen states who are helping us. We know we have more coming because even when the rain and the wind stops later on today, the danger will not be over because we're going to see rivers continue to rise through Sunday. So there will be additional flooding. People need to continue to be very cautious. And we have more people coming in to provide swift water rescue. We are assembling. There are a number of shelters right now. There's one that's open at the Ag Center that Buncombe and Henderson, and it'll be at the Henderson Ag Center that Buncombe and Henderson have gone in on. That's a bigger one. People need to evacuate. If they need to get out of their flooded area, they can go there. We are working with FEMA, the American Red Cross, with nonprofits to work to set up supplies that people can get. We have already gotten an emergency declaration, but today we will be asking for a major disaster declaration from Washington for these Western North Carolina counties in order to provide help for individual people and to order to begin the process of helping people to respond to this danger and to begin the process of recovery, because it is, I've seen pictures, I've talked to a number of officials, 10 to 12 officials in Western North Carolina. It is awful out there. I've heard a comparison like Tropical Storm Fred was a puddle compared to what is happening right now. I don't know personally whether that is an accurate description, but I do know from talking to enough people that this is a historic, catastrophic event for Western North Carolina.
That sounds pretty accurate because during Fred, we had isolated areas, but this seems more widespread. What are you hearing a little bit about communications out in this area? Because we've been having problems with phone service and not able to get a hold of someone.
So there's real frustration from people in Western North Carolina about not having cell service. And I did get a call from one government official who said, "This is the first call that I've been able to make today, and it is to you." And the real concern was, we can't tell the phone company that we have a problem, and that many people are concerned that the cell phone company doesn't know that their phones are out. Let me assure you, I have personally talked with the cell phone companies, and specifically just a few minutes ago, Verizon and AT&T, and have told them of the problem. They have assured me that they know that they have a significant problem. A number of their towers are out from wind damage and flooding, and that when the winds subside enough so that it is safe for them to be able to get repair people to them and to begin the process of repairing them, they're going to put significant resources in getting these repaired as quickly as possible, because they know that communications can be a difference between life and death for people. And so there's a lot of work that will be done to get people hooked back up to cell phone service to try to make sure that those communications are there. It has got to be very frightening and concerning for people, people that probably can't even hear you and I talking right now because they have no way to communicate. But just know that the state, we are putting significant resources to this. We've already planned. We have National Guard soldiers who are there in Buncombe County. We have swiftwater rescue teams. We have resources that we will be moving into the area to try and help with this. This is going to be something that we're going to be dealing with in one way for the next few days and weeks, and in another way for the next few months, and unfortunately, probably in some ways for the next few years to try and recover from. Right now, the priority is saving lives and making sure that people are safe, and that's something we don't know yet either, is how many people we've lost and what is happening in some of these areas.
And some of that is a transportation issue. It's very tough to get around. I know on my drive in to the station this morning, it was rough. I've talked to a couple of sheriffs in some of the outlying counties, and they say some of their deputies are pinned into areas because just the amount of trees we've had down. What kind of transportation crews can we expect? Help from the DOT out in this area to try and clean up? It was a lot of the wind damage that sent these trees down.
A lot of law enforcement are facing the same problems that everyday people are. You talk about sheriffs. We had a state highway patrol trooper who was trying to get in and help people, and that vehicle got flooded. She was able to get out, but she's now at a place where you can't get to her at this point. So we know that many people are facing these issues. We have a number of high water vehicles that will help us and will be part of rescue teams, will be part of the effort to get supplies to people, because we know, particularly in the mountains, that there will be a number of people who will be cut off for a while. And I remember being out there many times during the aftermath of Tropical Storm Fred, and hearing from people about bridges being washed out and just having no way to get from one place to the next. So we know we're going to have to do everything we can to try and get supplies from people. But I'm going to reiterate that we don't want people out right now, because you can get yourself in trouble pretty easily, and then you're putting the first responders' lives at risk who are out trying to save you at this point. We have a number of areas that are completely flooded, and I think it's just so important for people to shelter in place right now and do the best they can. And we're working to get help to all of these Western North Carolina counties as quickly as possible.
We got time for one or two more, Jennifer.
Okay. And that's what I caught a little bit of your press conference. I know you mentioned we had 4 deaths here in North Carolina. Do we know kind of what areas those occurred in?
So, it takes a while to confirm a death related to storm. We had a motor vehicle accident in Catawba County where a person was killed. We had a person in Charlotte where a tree fell on a house and a person was killed. That's storm related. We expect, unfortunately, that there will be more deaths in North Carolina that are beginning to be reported, but we have to wait and go through the process in order to publicly report them, next of kin, that kind of thing. But please stay safe, because there are still very dangerous conditions in Western North Carolina right now.
Sir, we thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.